be the top three things that I should look to outsource? What are the top three things?
The top three things, though, that we do, so marketing assistants, right? The first thing is you're doing so much as a business owner and as an entrepreneur that you don't realize is getting in the way of you growing your business, right?
Right.
In order to be more, you need to do less.
What are some tips or tricks that I can utilize to get straight to the people that I actually want to talk to?
One of the biggest mistakes people do in hiring is they look at resumes. If you're going to hire someone to play in your band, do you ask them what concerts they've been to? Or do you hand them a guitar and say, play me the guitar, right? Test people and see if they're actually going to be good at what you want them to do. And then, if they meet your core values and everything else, then you get down to the interview, and then you get down to looking at their application. It's like a cherry on top just to verify.
Today we are joined by the founder of GetStaffedUp.com, the founder of Trembley Law Firm. Listen, if you want to get involved with virtual assistants, this is the episode for you. Brett Trembley, welcome to the show.
Mark, thanks for having me, man.
Brett, my pleasure. It's really amazing what you've built out, but I want to go back to your humble beginnings, which, listen, we all start somewhere. Brett, tell me, when did you make the migration from running your law business to virtual assistants? When did you incorporate these two important practices?
So law firm started in late 2011, and we grew to, I think, we're now at 11 attorneys and over 25 staff people. But late 2017, my co-founder and I, he found out about offshore staffing. I mean, it wasn't a secret, but he kind of found out how to do it. And then early 2018, we decided to make a run at it. So a few days ago, we hit our 3-year anniversary for Get Staffed Up.
Amazing, amazing. And just to kind of clarify, the niche that you've carved out with Get Staffed Up is linking up attorneys and law offices with this offshore help. And I got to ask, to me, this is kind of a challenging thing because law practice, you're dealing with a lot of sensitive information. I would think as an attorney, I would be apprehensive about bringing in someone that maybe wasn't properly vetted, quote unquote, someone from overseas. Is that a challenge or a concern for you and the people that you work with?
Respectfully speaking, the only people that bring that up, like 9 out of 10 people who bring that up are over 55 or 60. Some of your old school attorneys that say, it's like the first thing their mind thinks of is all the ways that it can't work, right? It's not going to work. And I think a lot of people that age have a different respect for bar rules. And by the way, the American Bar Association has already clearly come out and said that outsourcing and staffing, that's not a violation of any bar rules. So what I mean is they look at the older people, maybe look at the bar differently. Not that we're doing anything wrong, but it's like they approach it from a place of this can't work instead of it can work. Maybe I should double check some things, but we don't have security issues. In fact, most of our virtual assistants that are working for law firms don't have full access to sensitive information.
Right.
And unless you're at a banker like Trembley Law Firm, I mean, we've got, we do litigation, we do business law, we've got some sensitive documents, but we've got 7 virtual staff people of our own. They don't have access to those documents. They don't need it. It's not a day-to-day type of thing. So it depends what you're using them for. We're not finding attorneys for you. We're not finding paralegals yet. When we solve that, this thing will get a little bit crazy. But it's admin assistants, marketing assistants, client happiness coordinators, intake receptionists, clerical assistants, all of the things that businesses neglect and like the little things don't get done and they linger, personal assistants, executive assistants. That's really where our bread and butter is. We're not a, and by the way, you said our niche is attorneys. That's right. We don't only have attorney clients, but that's what our niche is in terms of marketing, and niches bring riches. So instead of being all things to all people, we've just focused an inch wide and a mile deep on the law firm sphere.
And that's really smart. I think whenever you're building out a new business, it's great to get super niche down. That's something that John Lee Dumas brought to the show when I interviewed him The riches are in the niches. And then once you've established yourself as an expert in this particular field, well, then you can start incorporating these other branches. But to your point, attorneys, insurance agencies, real estate offices, there's a lot of similarities. We're dealing with a lot of financial implications. And as I've been in the insurance industry for over a decade, running a small agency, and I've never really thought about outsourcing that. Now, for my media company here, I've got 5 team members. I'm looking at bringing on more for the distribution. But for the insurance side of things, for that financial side, I've never thought about that. I got to ask you, Brett, if I was, as a financial business owner, either an attorney, real estate agent, et cetera, what would be the top 3 things that I should look to outsource? What are the top 3 things?
Okay, so first of all, we have a lot of CPA clients as well, and before I re-ask me that question in a few, but the genesis of this business, Get Staffed Up, is my co-founder. I said he figured out how to do this. He had a real estate law firm. He's also an attorney. So what he did is he got 4 people out of the Philippines to do all of the post-closing, right? So you got, if you ever bought a house, you know,
yes, it's
right. I'm not a real estate agent, but there's just like, it seems like a million documents you got to sign and all kinds of stuff. And that's just you sign them and you leave. But now, you know, he would scan them, they'd all get sent over, you know, like encrypted, and then they would be reorganized and they got to be recorded here and all these things that have to happen with those files. So for the insurance industry, I mean, I don't know exactly what you sell and what you're doing, but if you set up kind of an assembly line, why wouldn't you look to either buttress what you already have with additional hands on deck with somebody that's remote, or, you know, organize the business that way. We're not advocates of replacing your current people or getting rid of your current people. We're advocates of hiring smarter, adding payroll that just crushes you every time you want to grow. And it's just like, well, I'm so tired of this. I don't care if I really don't make any money. I'll just hire enough people. And man, that gets stressful, because what happens when the business has a little bit of a dip, like most do. So anyway, that's kind of my point, is that so many businesses can systematize things and have people remotely working those systems. Now, the top 3 things though that we do, so marketing assistants, right? Most business people have 100 new marketing ideas before they, you know, finish their shower in the morning, right? But what happens, like, that's a good idea, I'll get to it. That book, that story, that speech, all those things, we'll get to it. Well, guess what? Unless you get things off your plate, you will never get to it. And our trademark phrase here is delegate your way to freedom. Free yourself up to do the things you want to do. When you hire an in like domestic US-based marketing assistant, you're paying pretty big money. And so it's hard to find ways, because marketing, you're throwing things at a wall and you have all these ideas, but you don't know what works, and then it doesn't, right? Why not have somebody who's educated, smart, fun, energetic? They just happen to live in a different part of the world, so they cost less, right? So
and when we're talking, I want to just kind of clarify something here, because you're 100% right. The cost savings is enormous. It is immense. I cannot stress how much money you can save by outsourcing these types of job positions. But when we talk about marketing, to your point, it's very easy for us to get caught up working in our business day in, day out. So offloading the marketing, I believe really strongly in that. When we talk about marketing, are you talking about content creation for social, or are we talking about paid advertising on Facebook? What are we referring to when we talk marketing?
All right, so marketing is something, if you're going to hire a marketing, like a chief marketing officer, somebody who's really going to come in and take the vision and run with it, to me, that's not something you outsource or that you do offshore. We're talking about marketing assistants. We're talking about doers, people that are going to do all the things that you need to do. One of the last things that a business owner should give up is the visionary part of the business, right? It's still your message, it's still your voice. So we're talking about delegating all of the little tasks, social media, you know, content creation. And then you create ads on Facebook and LinkedIn, right? And you can promote those ads. You can run those things. Talking about email newsletters. We're saying, you know, find me 50 Rotary clubs in the state of Florida and send them my new book and see if they'll have me as a speaker, because I'm an estate planning attorney and I want to target older people. And, you know, some of those civic clubs have older people. I need a one sheet created. I'm going to try to get on podcasts. so many things that just take so much time. And yeah, you can go on Fiverr and hire someone, but it takes you just as long to go explain to someone who's not in your business. So for a set flat fee every month, you could pay us for an amazing marketing person. By the way, video, Tremblay Law Firm, we have our own in-house video person. So everything we do, she's with me on Zoom. I record for a few hours, and now we have all this content that goes out, right? Because she's splicing it up. She's doing it exactly how we've told her to do with our branding and our logos. I mean, it's amazing all the things you can get done when you figure out you don't need them in person for you. So
it's immensely powerful. And I just want to point out, when I onboarded my first team member, it took me 6 months to find the right person. That is an immense amount of time and energy and cash. Bringing onboarding doesn't work out. You interview them, they don't show up. There's all these steps to that. So I love the idea that, you know, you offer kind of, you could have saved me 6 months of time, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's interesting. And for everyone out there, you can find out more at getstaffedup.com/VIP, and just let Brett know you heard him on the After Hours Entrepreneur, get you a hot discount. But yeah, it's tremendously powerful. What's the feedback that you get from clients when you hook them up with a new virtual assistant? What are they like immediately, like, this is what I've been missing all my life, Brett? What do they say?
Yeah, and I don't want to make this sound like I'm lying or that I'm overdoing this, right? But we have the dream situation going on. We are growing like wildfire, and 80% of it is by referral from our own clients.
Wow.
Like, you know how hard it is as a law firm to create raving fans and raving clients? With this business, right? It's like, where's this been my whole life? This is a no-brainer. By the way, we have a lifetime replacement guarantee. I hate that sounds like we're a tire dealership, but if someone leaves, it's going to take you 6 months to 9 months on your own to find someone else. If someone leaves and you're working with us, we replace them for you at no cost, usually within 2 weeks. And so you talk about the time that we're saving people. So for all these reasons, our business is growing by client referral, because they're saying, hey, I found this amazing person, talk to this company. And they're like, holy, you know what? Why didn't I find this 10 years ago? Which is what a lot of people tell us. So to answer your question directly, yeah, Pete, we have raving fans, and I never knew that term. I knew the raving fan idea, but I didn't know that it actually could exist until we started running this company.
Yeah, well, when you change someone's life and you're saving them tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of dollars in staffing, you're going to create raving fans. That's the bottom line. And it's very easy, especially, I don't want to call out the older generation here, but it's very easy to get caught up in, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way that's always worked. We're going to keep doing it this way. But we're living in a weird time now. Technology, video interviews, social media, podcasting, this stuff is new. So I love the idea that you're experimenting and finding new solutions for these traditional industries that are very kind of steadfast in the way that they operate. I love the innovation. So I want to go back to a question we just looked at, Brett. We talked a little bit about what we should be looking to outsource first. We talked about bringing on marketing and social media help. What else should we be looking to outsource?
Yeah, so you said what are the top three things, right? Marketing's probably the third thing. The first thing is you're doing so much as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, that you don't realize is getting in the way of you growing your business, right?
Right.
In order to be more, you need to do less. So if you write down all the things you do in a week, and then you take a highlighter, let's say you take a pink highlighter, like everything I hate doing, take a yellow highlighter, everything that takes too much time that I don't, that's getting in the way, that's your delegation list, because people always ask where to start. Hire, right. And there's domestic, but again, they're like $40 an hour, and you hire, 10 hours here, and now this next week you need 20, but then you're like, do they really work? Stop messing around with part-time. Go all in. Our company, we only do full-time staffing. We don't play time Tetris with people's time. I also want to reiterate too, or maybe even just say for the first time, most of our people come from Latin America. And we're even finding English as a primary language out of some different countries now. But you have to speak incredible English to work for our company.
Right.
This year we're going to have 100,000 people apply to work at our company. That's the kind of infrastructure we built in 3 years, and where all of our money just pours back into building this infrastructure, mostly in Latin America. And we're going to place about 500. So that's, 0.05%. That's how we find the best of the best. And we hang our hat on finding amazing people, not on being the cheapest.
Well, I gotta dig into this a little bit deeper, Brett, because you're talking about screening and going through 100,000 applicants, right? Am I hearing you correct? How do you build out an infrastructure to actually handle that many people? Are you hiring virtual assistants to go through them? How are you doing that?
Our team's already almost 40 internally in 3 years. And what we do is we've built out the systems and the software that people reveal themselves very early in the process. So we will probably, I haven't, let me break down in my head real quick. We'll probably do about 2,000 to 2,500 interviews, even though we had 100,000 applicants, because our proprietary system for how we screen people is we have quizzes and tests and a lot of ways that people can trip themselves up by not following directions, and our software automatically kicks them out. One of the biggest mistakes people do in hiring is they look at resumes.
Right.
I could do less if someone applies, and like we're not looking at probably 70,000 resumes that we get, because that's a bunch of BS nonsense, right? I can't tell how you are on the paper. I need to one of the best stories I ever heard is like, if you're gonna hire someone to play in your band, do you ask them what concerts they've been to, or do you hand them a guitar and say, play me the guitar, right? You
Right.
need to test people and see if they're actually gonna be good at what you want them to do. And then, if they meet your core values and everything else, then you get down to the interview, and then you get down to looking at their application. It's like a cherry on top just to verify everything you've already read. So I could go on and on about all these tricks and tips and things we do. To finish answering the question that we keep interrupting is, so personal assistants and executive assistants, they're just like admin assistants, right? Extra hands on deck. And then we do receptionists and intake coordinators. So people that are actually answering the phone that nobody knows is not in your office. It's a million times better than an answering service that never pronounces your name right. With VoIP systems now, you cannot tell someone's not in your office.
Right.
And setting appointments, you can use us to hire somebody. It's really like insourcing, because when you work with us, that person works for you and you only. You just pay us and we pay them, and we take care of all the other stuff.
I like that a lot. And I really like, you just mentioned something, I think, Brett, that is really, really important when you're onboarding. You can't read through 100,000 resumes. It's not possible. So you obviously have this software built up, but give us a few takeaways. Let's say that I'm a business owner and I'm just trying to get my hands, my feet wet in the virtual assistant realm. What are some tips or tricks that I can utilize to get straight to the people that I actually want to talk to? You mentioned quiz, test. How can we do this?
I'll tell you the very first and easiest way is at the bottom of the application, make it tricky to apply. Not like impossible, but when you apply, email this address, spell your name backwards, and say, I'm your next assistant. That alone will weed out at least half of the people. These are things I've been doing at the law firm for 10 years, almost 9.5, which has helped us amass such just an amazing team of people. And we took all these concepts and went big with it at the staffing company.
I really like that idea a lot. Another thing that I've started implementing when I'm looking for a virtual assistant is I really like the idea of putting that at the bottom, creating some friction, creating some challenge. But one of the things that I like to do is recommend that they go to a Google form, fill out a Google form, and that'll populate my spreadsheet. And that's been a way of weeding out, 25% of the applicants. And that's been powerful for me. Another way another trend I've been noticing in this realm is video messages. So that's something that I ask for, because I've definitely had virtual assistants in the past that are not comfortable with video, and the relationship just never feels the same. Is that a priority for you and your clients?
Yeah, so everyone that applies, when they get to a certain part of the stage, they have to submit a 90-second video to us, and then when we do the first interview with them, we record it. So if you were a client, Mark, we would send you a potential person you could hire through us, and it would have their 90-second video and their 5-minute interview. So you get a feel for their energy, if you're going to vibe with them, and then you decide to interview them if you're giving a final thumbs up or thumbs down. So we employ the same thing. The video is one of the coolest things, and I started that at the law firm a long time ago, but one of the coolest things we ever did, because you get to see before they walk in, you know, like, oh, this person, like, no thanks, their energy is terrible, or like, wow, this person I could really see working here. Again, and you still haven't looked at a resume by then.
Right.
Like, don't look at the resume before you watch their video.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like, the resume is like the last thing that you should be looking at when bringing someone on board, right? Not the first. Yeah. Although I will, so this is, I would put this out there as well, Brett, because one of the biggest challenges that I've had in bringing on new team members to Mark Savant Media is bringing on team members that are great at writing copy. Has that been a challenge for you in linking up these VAs with law firms and CPAs and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so it's the hardest thing in the U.S. It's the hardest thing outside of the U.S. But finding people who are good at writing is a challenge. I mean, I've got friends that are very educated that, no offense, like they can't write for shit, you know? And so yes, that is probably the biggest challenge, but it's not impossible. Again, that's why you have to widen the net and really dig down and get people who, because they are out there, you know, but especially when you're trying to find, you know, actually, thank you, Mark, because I have a speech coming up next week in front of over 1,000 people who are our target market, and just talking about differentiators and stuff. The reason it took you 6 months is, I mean, you're going on like these you know, Fivers and the other, and you're trying to like hire people directly, and it's hard to find people who can write, and you don't know unless you test them, you know, if they had someone else write a cover letter for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the problem is when you're going through these applications online, it's almost always a copy and pasted statement that they've written down and proofread and probably had edited. So the resume that you're looking at is not going to be a clear indication of how well they actually execute on copy and copywriting. So, I mean, to your point, it's challenged, but that's why going with a firm like Get Staffed Up can help to save you just, I can't tell you how many dozens of hours I've spent on onboarding. But one of the cool things that's happened to me at Mark Savant Media is, because I've been showing up consistently, providing value to the audience, whether it's on YouTube or on Clubhouse or on Instagram or LinkedIn, is now people are coming to me and they want to work with me. They want to work for free. Now, again, I'm in the media creation, social media niche. I'm not focusing too much on law firms and whatnot, because there's an added level of complexity and understanding I think that's necessary in that field. But I do think that the sooner you get into the field and the sooner you hire your first virtual assistant and you start getting comfortable with it, the faster your company's going to grow. I mean, I would say it's almost mandatory at this point that your business has some offsourcing of some of these administrative tasks. I mean, how many emails can you go through a day?
It's funny because we have a download on our website. It's called Taming the Email Monster. It's something I created myself several years ago. And it's an email collaboration system. So it helps you teach an assistant how to manage your email. The amount of time we waste on sorting mail, it just happens to be electronic. It's like we're all mailmen at this point, you know? It's basically, you know, somebody who was highly productive back in the day would have their mail sorted and put on their desk, and only the really important things. And they would say, answer this person this, you know, let me make a note here, write on this, and they're done in 10 minutes a day. But yet we spend hours and hours on email every day. It's absurd. It's absurd the way we treat email as professionals.
It's the hamster wheel that I think every business owner gets into, that hamster wheel of wake up, answer emails, talk to clients, go home, go to bed. But you end up working in your business, not on your business. And by outsourcing this, you can spend more time working on your business. And it's to me, it's been a really powerful thing. Because to your point, you could spend your entire morning just sifting through emails and organizing them out, but a VA can completely change your world. On a personal level, Brett, you know, we've talked about your business as a whole. I guess this isn't that personal, but you've been talking about developing apps, developing software, developing all these systems. How long did it take you to execute on all that, to build these software? Because you're a law firm, right? At your core, that's where you started. You started out as an attorney, as a law firm. You started implementing this VA strategy. How are you able to allocate your time and money and resources to developing these softwares?
I haven't done a second of my own development. I mean, there's just no way. We have software, and we've hired a bunch of great people to develop the software for us. So my business partner manages that side, the operations and the internal, and I do like marketing and sales, and I'm kind of in charge of directing. I spend about half my time in the law firm and half my time on this company, and the only way that I've been able to do that is what I'm saying is I had to find really great people. I had to train them, elevate them to a position of leadership so that you're not trying to do what a lot of entrepreneurs do, is walk in every morning, bark orders, bark orders, bark orders, and
Right.
expect your business to grow, right? We're very organized with our operating systems internally, with our meeting rhythms. We're just very organized, and that's the best way that I can delegate and elevate and be organized, and you can get a lot more done.
Yeah, and that obviously that is the theme of this conversation today. It's organize, outsource. Give people the ability to do what they do best. GetStaffedUp.com/VIP. Brett is going to show you how to elevate your company to the next level. The other thing that I think is important here, Brett, is the way that we're actually training these new assistants when they come on. And something that's been really powerful for me is video, recording video, because if virtual assistant A doesn't work out, when I bring B in, I already have the training. It's already done. I already have the curriculum. Do you know any other tips or tricks to make sure that we're onboarding as a lawyer office, as a law office, as a CPA, as an insurance agency? Any tips on how we can actually onboard more efficiently?
So yeah, there's something called Trainual, but if you don't want to like pay them to do everything, something you could develop yourself, and again, depending on the size of your company. How about this? Hire a virtual assistant and have them develop all your onboarding systems for you, and I'm not being facetious. If you have a wiki and you organize it by department, you have an entire onboarding, then you just create a video for here's how we answer phones, here's how we check email, like you said, and you can create those videos the first time you train someone, because you record your Zoom session like you and I are doing, and now you have your training done. So
Yeah.
finding a wiki is a good way to stay organized. We use that in both of my companies, and we're recommending that a lot to people.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of a wiki too. That's not something I had thought about, but it makes a lot of sense, because the reality is if you're manually training every employee or every VA that you bring on board, you are leaving money, you're wasting time. Stop leaving money on the table, outsource it, find ways to automate. And again, I'm a huge fan of video. Listen, everyone out there, you need to start getting comfortable with video. It is the best way to build know, like, and trust with people in 2021 and beyond. So please, please, please start implementing video in different ways. Please, I'm begging you.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So listen, we're sitting here, we're talking to Brett Tremblay, founder of GetStaffed.com/VIP. Drop the name if you heard, you're listening to the After Hours Entrepreneurs, so let them know you heard him here. But listen, Brett, it's been awesome. I love talking to you, but before I let you go, brother, we got to get into some rapid fire. We got to do it.
All right.
You ready? So I'm going to start off with a little word association. So let me break down some words for you here, okay? Team.
Important.
Law.
Necessary.
Pineapple.
Yummy.
Agreed. Virtual assistant.
Smart.
Florida.
Warm.
Brett, if you could only use one social media platform on your phone, what platform would you use?
On my phone?
Yeah, like on your phone. If you can only have one social media app, what would you use?
Personal or business? I'm sorry to split hairs, Mark, but
You be the boss. Why don't we do both?
okay. So Facebook, because I got to stay in touch with people.
Got it. Love it. And Facebook can go for both, although I found that personally organic business-related content on Facebook it's a little meh. But
Yeah, that wouldn't be my business choice. So that would be LinkedIn.
So what's your business choice, Brett? What do you got? LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% on board there. Definitely on board there. If you could only have one subscription, what is a must-have subscription in your life?
Audible.
I like that. What's the best book you've listened to over the past year?
I think 80/20 Sales and Marketing. That was by Perry Marshall. Just phenomenal.
Dig it. Dig it. Final question here for you, Brett. If you had 10 seconds with yourself 10 years ago, what are you going to say?
Life's short. Don't, have no regrets.
Brett said it. I agree with it. Brett, thanks for being on the program, brother.
Oh man, Mark, super fun today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.